I'm Marc Sparfel. I'm a French artist. I'm coming from Brittany in France, and I'm living here in Barcelona in Spain since 25 years. I think that very soon, like as a child, I felt that I was attracted to something artistic, but I didn't know the what. And as I'm coming from the countryside, there was not a lot of space for the art there. So it was very like a sensation, an abstract sensation. I can felt an attraction, but it was very blur or very confused. But the thing I know that I was always doing stuff with small object, with reclaimed stuff. I was always playing and in volume. Later I started to build furniture with cardboard. I started to do lamps, and in the meanwhile I was always doing small animals, little stuff. I was not aware that I wanted to make sculpture. It was never in my mind. I mean, until I was 30 years old, it was not something in my mind to be a sculptor or be an artist. I was just trying a lot of things, and I entered an art school, but it was nothing about sculpture. It was like communication, graphic design, and I didn't finish it anyway. It was quite boring. I think that I prefer the business school I did before than the art school. People in the business school were much more creative than in the art school, strangely. And so no, I really need a lot of time to arrive to the sculpture. Maybe from time to time I think that I trying my best not being an artist and doing every kind of stuff before, but then it's like an evidence and it has to be. So yeah, now I'm in it. It's your life. I mean, it's totally a vocation. It's maybe, I don't know if you really choose it. I don't know if it choose you or it's too topic, but it's really this kind of sensation, you know. And when it arrives to you, so it's the epiphany, you know, it's an evidence. And then nothing can take you out from this. It's very inside, you know, it's very deep. It's not something that you consider doing it more or not, going on or not. No. When you are in it, you are in it. And I take enough time to arrive to it, to now being asking me if it's the right path. So I'm in it. I think that time makes its work. So just having these few years in the school, I stayed 2 years and a half or something like this. The main thing that gave me this school, it's art history. This was very exciting, and I learned a lot. When I entered this school, I really didn't know nothing about the art's history. So yeah, this is a privileged moment that you can go to the library and open any kind of books, and it's like a free time, you know, it's a freedom time. So art history, yeah, it was very important for me. Since very young, I think that I wanted, it was like a secret wish to go to an art school. But as I told you before, it was so abstract, this attraction, that it was not very serious enough. And when you come from the countryside, going to an art school is something like it doesn't exist, you know. It's so people doesn't encourage you to go to this kind of studies. So I resisted a lot of time. I did this business school and finally I needed to do this art school just to have it done and be able to go to the next, you know, to the next step. I think this was the most important, to take it out of my mind. Okay, I did it. It was not for me. Next. So this artist, I don't remember which one, said once that let the message for the prophet and the postman. And for me, I adopt this sentence. And of course, there's no message in my work, but I only hope that my art can provoke any kind of different sensations to every kind of different people. I really want it the most open possible. So there is not a clear message. I'm not a postman, I'm not a prophet. Hopefully people are not indifferent watching my work, you know. My main goal is having fun in my studio with my work, I have to say. Artists are always working for, at least in my case, but I know that this is the case for a lot of artists, we are working for ourselves. We are working to have our own place in this world, you know, in this society. And then there is the link, the meeting with the public, but it's then. At least for me, I never think about people who will watch or have my work later. It's nothing to do with what I'm doing. You know that then there will be a public, but how can you pretend to know what the public will think about your work, you know? I mean, even if you would like to know, it's just impossible. So you have to work with you, for you, and have fun. The only suggestion I would give is doing things, making things, and not think too much about. I met so many people who tell me, yeah, I would like to do this, but I don't have the tools, or I don't have the place, or I don't have. For me, it always sounds to me like pretext, you know, like a good reason not to do this stuff. So my only suggestion would be make, you know. But it's very personal. This is my relationship with my art. It's and also because I'm working always by improvisation, you know. So it's a lot to do with to trust your intuition and just go and make, and then you will see and you will maybe understand what you did or not. It doesn't matter, but you have your things, you have a base to start to think if you want. But at least it's my way to work. I can start to think about something very later after I did it. But in the moment I'm working on it, I don't have a clue about what I'm doing, you know. It's and I think I'm not interested in it, sincerely. I prefer working this way. I have this change that since I have my first studio, that it was my terrace a long time ago, I really need this regular stuff and this every day going to the studio, every day doing something. But it's true that it's good to make like small parentheses, like in French we said jachère. I don't remember the word in English, and it means it's coming from the countryside. You know, when you let the earth rest, and you don't put anything inside during maybe 6 months, just to let it rest. So 6 months is too much for me, but it's very good to make, for me it's very good to make like parentheses of 1 week, 1 month, and then you come back with a lot of energy and you really have to do a lot of things. I can imagine that unconsciously you get a little bit tired of doing a thing at the beginning. So I think that even if you're not aware of it, you're starting to try new paths, you know, new things. And then, I mean, to go to your studio every day, you really need something special. You really need an attraction, and you need to feed this excitation. If not, it's really hard to do it, because you have so many things to do around these to be able to go to the studio every day, you know, and you have to make the crate, you have to do the paperwork, you have to do all this kind of stuff. So when you're working on your work, if you're not super excited, or if you're not discovering things, new paths, new possibilities, new materials, if you don't have this organic energy, I think you're done, you know. This is the end. I always play with small objects. Before pretending making a sculpture or anything, I was always playing with domestic stuff, you know, the small piece of everything. So it's a lot to see with assemblage, to assemble different stuff. And then I made a lot of works with can or with wire, and then I arrived to wood. And all this wood is reclaimed wood. And I think that it's, I find the same way of assemblage with wood. And because I started to work with furniture, I can show you. I started to work with this kind of material, that it was reclaimed wood from furniture that I can find in the streets of Barcelona. And I was very fascinated by these kind of shapes, that they are some part are handmade, and it was beautiful for me. So I started to do this kind of assemblage. I did so many that it was directly inspired by the first kind of art that I discovered, that it was African art, oceanic art. So you can see this kind of mask. And also it was linked with my father's passion about ancient Egypt and ancient Greece. So I think you can see all these in this work. And finally, this work was my first sculpture school, you know, as I didn't do sculpture in the art school. So it was very organic. And as I told you before, I really resisted a lot of years against the idea to be an artist, or I didn't know what to do. And so when I find the path to start this work, I was like crazy, and I did so many pieces. I was super overexcited, and so I did this work so many years. And then through this work with the fossils, this was the idea of having the old furnitures in my work and not anymore in people places. So it brings me to the idea of fossils. And for this work, I started to play with the background, putting colors, and in one moment I didn't need anymore the animal. So this was like the transition point, and this brings me to this work, this kind of work. So I think it was very natural to pass from the furnitures to the flat normal wood, and I just went on with this idea of assembly and not doing modeling with clay. Or I did it a few times, but it's natural the way that you find your relationship with the volume, with the material. And I really love wood because you can perfectly learn to work with wood with your instinct. You know, it's not, you don't need very complicated tools, and it's very organic. I mean, this was a thing from life, because I started to work in France. I had to do my military stuff, and I didn't want to enter caserne, so I was objecteur de conscience, consciousness objector. I don't know if it makes you sense. And so I went to a theater. I went to work to a theater, and there we were building the decoration for the puppet theater. So this is the place I started to use this kind of basic tools. And then when I arrived to Barcelona, I also started to work in a decoration studio. And so I made kind of perfectionism class of using these tools. But this is the place I learned to use these tools. But it's so many years that I don't have them more. You know, I don't stop in the street now to take them. So I took from so many furnitures, so many, and then this I get fed up of it. So it's years and years and years that they are there, you know. But you can easily understand why you want to play with this form. No, for me it's fantastic. This is already a ear, you know, but this is for shoe. It's crazy because it's a cow ear, no? But look, it was so evident that I was not able to use it in any sculpture of mine. You know, it was too evident. This is maybe a better image of ear. But yes, it's totally different. It's not totally different way of work, but it's kind of. I mean, the same thing is it's assembly different shapes that they already exist. The difference with now is now I'm doing the shapes. Before I was using shapes that other people did for a useful thing, and now I'm started from nothing. So I decide of the shapes, and the shapes that I'm using now are much more neutral, much more. This is much more. This is richer. This is so many beautiful stuff. You know, it's impossible not having, not wanted to do something with this. No, it's absolutely beautiful. And at the same time, normally it's flat. At the same time, when you have these on the chair in your house, it's really ugly. I mean, I don't want this thing in my place. But the isolated pieces are absolutely beautiful. And this is, I imagine that it's made by machine, but maybe the details are made by hands. I don't know. It's really beautiful. You know, it's so there is a big work of cleaning it before, and then I brought it to a special company who make the treatment of the wood. Oh, I remember this one. This one I brought it from San Sebastian in País Vasco. I found it in the street, and of course I had to take it. But it's a little bit like the ear of the ear I showed you before. It's like too evident. It has maybe too much character to put it in a piece. I don't know. This is the reason why I didn't use it. But now when I come back to this, it's funny. Yeah, it was the old universe. I placed so many years and hours with this kind of shapes. And look, this is one of the very first piece. This is a very old one. And this one, it still has the painted or the varnish of the street. You know, I didn't clean it. At the beginning, I didn't want to take the time. I didn't want to take off the patine of the time. But finally, I started to clean them. Putting pieces together, you know, when it doesn't matter the scale, but it's always starting with having two pieces and looking for something. It's just listening to your instinct, you know. And of course, with the years, you have a certain tendency to start the same way and to but I'm aware of it. So you start something, you say, okay, I will do the reverse, the contrary. Maybe if I can find something new by this way. And you're always struggling with these automatisms that you get very quickly. So yeah, it's like a fight with the thing that you are learning, coming to the studio day after day. You are creating kind of automatism, and yeah, there is something in this. But anyway, you're building your own relationship with the material, with the scale, with the colors. I don't know how to explain this. It's it's evident when this is a good way, this is my way. When I do a multicolor piece, like this big. I started to, the wood is already painted, and so I can play with the color. And when I work with a monochromatic piece, so I work with raw wood and then I paint it in one hand. This is all with hot glue, you know, because it's too small to receive the nails. And then the biggest one is with the pistolet à clous. I don't know how to say. Nail gun, yeah, exactly. So, you know, this small pieces is just playing with color and shapes and with the empty spaces. For me, they're sculpture because I always play with volume, and I never felt that I was a painter. Now it's a little bit more confused because I'm using all these colors. So yeah, we could say that it's kind of painting or 3D painting. But anyway, I'm totally linked to the volume. For me, it's absolutely abstract, but it's true that a lot of people see the influence of my first universe with these animals and these sculptures made by furniture's pieces. So yes, you can say that they are legs or arms or head, maybe, but for me it's totally abstract, and I don't pretend to do any kind of recognized piece. Yes, I made all the pictures of these pieces. This is the last one of the series, and you can see that it really went out of my hands, you know? It's something totally... The piece is very weird, but the pictures look very beautiful. It's really weird piece for me. But this is a little bit what you're looking for when you are doing a series. So you enter in a series. Series mean that there is certain coherency between one and another piece, but you are always you hope that something will happen, but it's not in your hands. You can decide that, okay, now I will find a new path. It's more organic than that. But then you have an accident and you find this piece. And this is the sister of all of these, but you can see that it's a little bit nothing to do with them. Because I will not take one and make it bigger. But it's true that it's a way of practicing a lot this kind of work, and practicing these, then when you do a bigger piece, you have the influence of all this work. At the beginning, I thought that I will do a large series and then I will choose one to make it bigger. But it didn't work because I think for the moment, it's too complicated to make bigger. So this is the reason why I did the other series there, you know. I think that I need them equally. Of course, technically it's much more easy to work as at this scale, so you can feel more free. But you know, at the same time, when you have limits, it's also good for your creativity. And it's also linked with the material, you know, because I always worked with reclaimed material, and when you do bigger pieces, you are generating these kind of small retails, and then there is a moment that you want to use them. So I think this was the start maybe of the series, the disponibility of the material. And when you have all these small color pieces, you just want to play with them. Normally, this is the exception. This one, I don't know if it's stand or if it should be in the air. I don't really know at that moment. But yeah, when I start a family, of course, I know that if there is standing pieces or if they will go to the wall, because it's a very different way to work. When I do pieces for the wall, it needs a structure normally. So yeah, I decided these before, and of course I decided the scale. And then the evolution is a little bit on its own path, you know. I don't really control it, because maybe I started with this kind of size, you know, and I don't know why I finish at this size. And this is really the kind of decision that I don't take. I think it's, I would say, the work that decides for me, but I don't know if it makes sense. It's you know, it's a practice. And maybe, yeah, maybe I started this large, very small pieces series because I'm struggling in my studio with space. And also, I think this is really useful to change the scale for your own creativity. I think this is important, because it's changed physically your relationships with the volume. And I made so many biggest pieces. It's just different, you know. In Dubai, this woman will open her gallery, her physical gallery, soon. So I had this idea of showing a very big piece, the one that it's in these two crates, and a lot of very small one. And the big one is monochromatic, and this one is so full of colors. And I wanted to, I thought it was interesting to show the contrast between a huge plain sculpture that I think it's like my size, and it's huge, and to show these very small and kind of fragile pieces full of empty spaces. The contrast will be interesting. And I can imagine all this family in a white table with, you know, I think it could be interesting. And today it's too complicated to make these 4 meters high, but I hope one day I will be able to do it. I really would like to see these in 4 or 5 meters. But you know, with all these kind of different size, it's very complicated to do it. And if you want to do it in metal, so it's complicated. And expensive. So we will wait a little bit before these. And my dream, I think the best thing I would like to have is this piece, but making like a tree that you can climb on, you know, and to let children playing on it. I think this would be the best use of this kind of sculpture. Like 3 years ago, there is a guy who contacted me through Instagram, and he said, "Hey Marc, I like your work. I would like to make it bigger, like I don't know, to big scale, high scale. I don't know how to say." And I said, "Yes, okay. And how do you want to do that?" And we were a few months talking about it, and I didn't know, it was not clear if he wanted to buy me a piece. Then I sent it to Canada, and he'd do it by himself, big, but it was not clear for me. Okay, so it stayed like this. And last year, no, in 2023, I had the commission here to make a big sculpture in metal to put on the facade of a building. So through this experience, I took back the conversation with Jeremy in Canada, and I said, "Hey, look, now I know how to do it. I can do a maquette, and then we can study it, and we can do it bigger." Okay, and now, like, I was working on this new way of this work is the idea of taking my work to metal. And so this way of working, because for this building stuff, I made a very small, so let's have the good paper. So for this guy, what can I show you? Maybe, I don't know. Let's say this one. I don't know if it's a good, but so for this project, for the building, I did a series of maquettes of proposals, and then we talk about this and we choose one. And from the maquette, I had to take the measures of each part and the angles, and it was very complicated, but I did it. And then I thought, oh, maybe now it's possible to scan that. The problem is the technical problem is that to make a good scan, it's quite expensive. And then to cut each piece of each part of the sculpture is another work. So it's much more expensive. And so I thought, okay, maybe if I make like a register of the part of the sculpture before making the sculpture, so I don't have to scan anymore. And I started to make this series with this practice thing in mind, and it works perfectly. It works much more than I was expecting, in the sense of so I take wood and I just it's just taking this kind of wood, and totally by chance. I mean, I know that I'm using always a little bit the same kind of forms, but so I just take this like this, and I know that I would like to have these kind of shapes, and also certain large one, and then I like triangle because I need them. And okay, so you do this, then you cut everything, and I started to register these forms here in a paper, in a sheet of paper. And then with these, look, this is the one I didn't use, but just to give you the idea, this was the way to work. So with that, and then you start the same thing. You just start to play. You know, it's just it's easy like this. It's just you start to play, and then you make the piece. So you have the already registered all the shapes, and of course at the end you have to adapt a few of them, so you make the correction here. So this is perfect because it's a limited number of pieces, and yeah, it was natural that it gave you this kind of scale. And I was doing this work with the idea of trying to make the work in metal. And in that moment, the guy from Canada contacted me and he said, "Hey Marc, I have a project." So now, right now, we decided that we will make this one, the PZL6. So this one, they will make it in 3 meter high in Canada. So it's funny. And for this, he gave me an app, and you can see, for example, this piece, you know, and you can scan it. So it's weird because it looks like clay. You can see that the application is struggling with the edge, but I mean, you have the piece, and for the guy who will construct them in Canada, this is a very good information, the relationships between all the shapes. So with this and this, that's it. And it's very new for me that, you know, this was not my plan of making other guys my work, but this is an opportunity, and you always learn stuff, you know, making new project. So we are in it now.